What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first ever, I guess you could call this podcast, Let's Talk About, and today we are talking about the Resident Evil series of games.
Resident Evil.
I am Ben Richey.
I'm Adam Richey.
I'm Alex Richey.
私の名前は Justin です。
And let's kick things off with the original game in the series, the original Resident Evil for the original PlayStation. We'll just go ahead and kind of branch the director's cut and Deadly Silence together. That's, if you don't know, the Deadly Silence is the Nintendo DS re-release. Has everybody played the original Resident Evil here?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, Alex, you haven't played
I
it?
didn't know there was a
No.
re-release.
You didn't know there was a re-release on the...
Not on the DS.
Yeah, I had
You
no
say
idea.
DS?
It's actually kind of rare, yeah. But it's there. And there's a...
Never heard of it.
It adds like first-person aspects to the game and stuff with the touchscreen.
So it makes it stupid.
It's actually pretty
Yeah.
nice because there's the dual screen, so you get the map at all times, which is really helpful. But what are your guys' memories of the first Resident Evil, Adam?
I don't know.
I
I just remember stopping to play it, or I didn't play it for what, like 6 months? Because I couldn't
was like
figure out some puzzle in it. There's a bug on my screen, but I
Yeah,
couldn't
it's all
play
with
it.
the books.
No, it wasn't. It was the pictures.
No,
That was
I thought it was one where you had to get the books and then you open that like concrete gate or whatever it was.
No, it was the damn pictures where you set them up in age, because me being a dumb kid didn't realize that. Oh, yay!
How old
Yeah,
were
once
you when
it
you
sets
first
these
played
up,
Resident
hey.
Evil?
I have no idea.
And,
Shit, I was young.
And if people don't know, Alex and Adam are brothers. So what, Alex? Did you watch him while he was playing the game?
Pretty much. I mean, that was my experience with, I guess, most of the Resident Evil was just watching Adam. That was my first experience with Resident Evil. Was he got it one day and, never let me
So
play it.
I never let you play anything. So it was my game.
All right, Justin. So what are your memories of the first Resident Evil?
Resident Evil は
In English.
本当にかっこいい。Resident
Cut
Evil
years in my butt. Tastes so
is,
good.
it was really cool and scary at the same time. I remember going into that room on the right. It was an art gallery, and then all of a sudden there were dogs that popped out.
The hallway.
I
Yeah,
shit my pants on that
Hallway
one.
with the dogs. I think everybody who's ever played that game shit their pants on that.
Yeah, and my first time playing the original Resident Evil, my buddy about three houses down on the same street, his dad bought the PlayStation and Resident Evil, and he didn't have a memory card, mind you, and we would play the game, and then we'd get to that part with the dogs, and he'd jump up and hit the PlayStation, turn it off, and then we'd start back over, and there's no memory card, so we'd never get anywhere in that game, because we'd freak out and turn it off, because I was like 6 years old. And
Were you that young when it came out?
I think, didn't it come out in like 96?
Like I was supposed to talk about this, and yet nobody knows the release date for it.
Release date was March 22nd, 1996. So yeah, I was probably 6 years old when I first played
So
it.
96. It came out 3 days before my birthday in 96. So I was what? How old was I, Ben?
If I was 6, you were turning 7?
No, that would be me.
That wouldn't
No, I
be
was-
you. You're younger than me.
Yeah, you're younger than
I like to imagine that I'm older. Every time I look in the mirror.
Well, actually, you're probably already 7 because I would have been turning 7 in like 2 months. But yeah, so I was
Yeah, it's
6 or
about
7 when I first played that game, and it scared the shit out of me.
Great
And that
parenting.
no shit.
And both our parents.
And look how awesome we turned out.
Yeah.
And that moves us right along to the second Resident Evil. And before you guys start on that, because I'm sure Adam has quite a bit to say about that. My first experience with Resident Evil 2 was actually at your house. I think it was a Memorial Day party or something. And,
Most likely, because all we did was play it.
and you were playing it, and you were, I believe, towards the end of the game, and you were telling me that if you walk slow, the lickers can't hear you. And you were trying to like pass one, and he swiped at you, and you freaked out, and it was pretty funny. That's my first memory of that game.
Walk slow. It was like if you didn't take a full step, because like if you tapped the forward button, you didn't take a full step.
Well, you literally told me, I remember this, that they only hear.
I'm telling you, it works. If you play it right now, it would work.
All right, Justin, what are your thoughts and or memories of Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation?
I remember going in the gun shop and the guy screaming at me something like, "Hey, don't open that door!" He locks it behind me. I wasn't sure what he was trying to do with me. And then he knew there were zombies outside, but he still went outside anyway, and then he got killed. That just really irritated me, and I didn't know how to feel.
You didn't go outside, though. The zombies broke through the window.
Depending, I think one character he goes out the back door, and the other one they bust through the window.
No, it's when you go towards the back door.
What happens is you walk in, and he's like, "Hey, I thought you were one of them."
Yeah. And this, just so everybody knows, was released January 2nd, January 21st, 1998.
Yeah. I remember when it came out, I don't know where I got it, because I got it. Or I played it somewhere, and then, like, for my birthday, I got it for my birthday from somebody. I think my aunt and uncle. Not your parents.
Right. Is that all you got to say about Resident Evil 2, Justin?
I don't know. Jesus, I could go on.
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to figure out how to be Punk and Tofu. I never figured out how to be Tofu, but I figured out how to be Punk. Played hours.
Tofu, didn't you have to beat the game in like under 2 hours or something crazy like that?
I don't know. I always wanted to figure it out, but I never did.
You gotta beat it like 7 or 8 times and get an A every single time.
That's outrageous. Alright, so I'm guessing Adam and Alex, you'll have a little bit to say about this game, so what are your thoughts or memories on Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation?
I don't know, I mean, that's one of those ones, it's just like the first one. I beat the crap out of that game. I've beat it every which way you can imagine. Jeez. Well, not really, I mean...
I actually started finally, like, playing. I was old enough to really grasp the concept of Resident Evil.
I probably beat it 3 or 4 times in, like, one day. And I beat Scenario 1 and 2, and then went back and did 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 again.
And if you have been following our channel at all, you may remember we did a Resident Evil live stream for 24 hours.
You guys were horrible.
For charity, and Resident Evil 2 is one of the games we beat. And I don't think you beat it, Adam. You beat the first one.
No, I didn't play it. I did,
Mootsie.
Yeah, the first one took me forever when we did that thing. I don't even know what happened.
But you did beat it. And that was impressive, because I couldn't even get through 0. Even though I practiced.
You couldn't even beat the first thing in 0. You couldn't even get past that centipede.
We'll get to that later. That was... Okay. Alex, do you have anything to say more? Anything more to say?
No, I remember just my most memorable thing for it was the opening. That was the first time I actually saw a great opening for a video game.
Oh yeah, graphically that was like, what?
With the
up until that point in time, like,
because the first one had that cheesy opening.
Special.
You know, I liked the cheesy opening in 1 because Jill Valentine, whoever played her, was super hot.
Yeah.
And Resident Evil 2 had the like car wreck or
semi. The guy's a maniac. Why'd he bite me?
Yep. I remember that. That was
the gas station. Why'd he bite me? And it's like the same voice actor for the guy in the gun store.
Oh, you're probably right.
I think it is.
Well, that ends Resident Evil 2, and that moves swiftly on to Resident Evil 3.
My game.
Which was released September 22nd, 1999. And if you don't know, Resident Evil 3 was actually supposed to be a spin-off. Well, Resident Evil Code Veronica was supposed to be Resident Evil 3, but Capcom had a deal with Sony where the main series would only be on Sony's consoles, so they just switched the names. But Justin, you got anything to say about Resident Evil 3?
Nemesis was pretty big, and I think Mr. X was in that one too.
No.
And I don't know. I think the biggest thing that I played on that one was Mercenaries. I was just used to like running around as Carlos. I don't know what I did. I think I just shot stuff randomly, but it was fun for being however old I was, 8.
Yeah, that was definitely my favorite one. I think out of the series so far.
See, Resident Evil 3, I've never actually played myself. The only real connection I have with Resident Evil 3 was the live stream. I believe, Adam, I think you beat Resident Evil 3 too.
Yup.
Yeah, and
That's another one I've played the crap out of. I mean,
Yep,
Justin
same
said
here.
Mercenaries, and
That was definitely the.
go on,
think I-
Alex.
both of us have gotten me and Alex both have gotten every ending to that game.
How
Yeah.
many endings were there? Do you remember?
What is it?
There
3?
was, yeah, I think there was 3.
What? Elaborate. What are they?
It
I don't know.
There's one where I mean it all really comes together in the factory. Like it's like the final, the final stage.
Right.
There's one choice where, depending on your choices throughout the game, would be the main, antagonist, human, not not Nemesis included, Nikolai.
Ah, yeah.
One would be you'd have a shoot off in this room, and something nobody really knows. I mean, speculation is that Nemesis got him, gets pulled up into the ceiling, and killed.
Now, does Nikolai return in any other games?
Not
I don't think he
that I'm aware
officially
of.
returns in anything.
Okay.
Yeah, not officially. And then the second one is he somehow gets an attack chopper, and you shoot him out of the sky.
I think I may have seen that somewhere.
But those are the 2 endings, really. I mean, they're not really endings.
No,
'cause-
there's the third one. You don't even see. I don't even think you see Nikolai really.
yeah,
He
you don't
just
see him
comes
at all.
over the radar, and then you find out he's dead.
What
Mhm.
ending did we get on the live stream, Adam? Do you remember?
I think Nikolai got killed by the thing in the ceiling
Okay.
right
I
before
don't
you fight
remember that.
Nemesis.
Yeah, that coincidentally was the only that was the first Resident Evil game I beat. Being only,
9 years
9
old, or yeah.
Yeah.
Adam, do you have anything to say?
Oh, I played the poop out of it.
Played
Yeah, I remember that was the first one I really used Game Shark after I beat it.
Game Shark. I
Yeah,
remember.
I did use a game on that too.
I remember
After-
using a Game Shark for Resident Evil 1 years and years after I had already played it, and just you having unlimited rockets, and
Mm-hmm.
that was awesome.
Yeah, that was definitely the best one, I think, out of the 3, in my personal opinion.
The original 3, your favorite is 3?
Yeah.
What about you,
100%.
Adam? Out of the original 3?
2. Definitely 2.
What about you, Justin? Out of the original 3, what's your favorite?
It's hard to say. I don't know if I have an opinion on that one.
I'd probably go with 1, just because that's the only one I've really spent time with. Although I have beat Resident Evil 2. I beat 1, 2, and barely played 3, but I think my favorite's probably 1. And that leads us to our next game in the Resident Evil series, which is also for the original PlayStation, which is Resident Evil Survivor.
Oh, God.
Have any of you played Survivor?
Yes.
Yeah, I played and beat it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we
Okay.
played and beat it, too.
I'll go first then. My only memory, my only connection with Resident Evil Survivor is once again the live stream. Adam, you were sleeping, and so was Sarge, who was also with us, and it was probably 4 a.m. and I beat it in about 40 minutes with the help of the online viewers. It's not as bad as people say, but it's really not good, like at all.
It was definitely the easiest one, like, at that time.
Totally, definitely. There was like no
you
puzzles
expect
or
a Resident Evil game to be frustrating with puzzles,
Right.
limiting your ammo, but this one just pretty much got rid of all of that.
It gave you unlimited ammo.
yeah.
Here, hey, do this. Okay, you just wandered through the street.
And
The concept is cool because it's the first time you experience somewhere other than Raccoon City as well.
Yeah.
So that was, kind of cool in the first person aspect.
I like
at least for
the
me.
Tyrant was cool too.
It's pretty awesome.
the tyrants though in that game were so easy. I remember
Oh yeah.
even
You
on the
picked
live
it
stream,
up.
I made a comment that it was just shoot, 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 sidestep. He misses you. Shoot, shoot, shoot,
Yeah.
sidestep. It's just very easy, but you know what? Maybe it was because it was 5 a.m. and I was delirious, but I had fun with it. What do
Yeah,
you?
I mean, it's entertaining. It's not by any means. It's not a good Resident Evil game, but it's entertaining.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And Justin, what did you think of Survivor? Do you remember it?
That was the one that was first person, right?
That was the one that
Yeah.
was first person. And
Not that dead aim one. The one where it's just solid first person.
here's another little factoid that I have locked away in my memory. The game originally was supposed to be to be played with the light gun, which is obvious. It's a first-person shooter on the PlayStation. But Columbine happened not close to the release date, I guess you'd say, a little bit before the game was released. So they thought shooting human zombies with a gun would not go over too well. So they scrapped the light gun idea, which is why
You just shoot them with the controller.
So you shoot them with a controller, exactly. All right, go ahead, Justin.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. What were your thoughts?
It was just terrible. I rented the game and I returned it the same day because it was miserable.
Yeah? Don't remember anything of it, just that it was terrible?
No, I got attacked by a hunter. Not much else.
Yeah, if I remember right, the like main monsters, like the hunters and the lickers and stuff, were really common in the game.
Yeah, hunters were everywhere in it.
Which was weird, because that's, I don't know, there's no tension built up. Like in the first Resident Evil, you see that little cutscene, and you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, him cruising through the hallway, and you're like, what the fuck's about to happen?
Right. In this one, they just kind of pop out, and you shoot them, and they die.
Wasn't that the last one on the original PlayStation 2?
That was the last game on the original PlayStation, that's correct. Did you anybody else have anything to add about Resident Evil Dead Aim?
It was just
Dead
even
Aim?
worse.
Or not Dead Aim, the Survivor.
We'll get to
Dead,
Dead
Aim
Aim.
was garbage. That was the first Resident Evil.
We'll get to Dead Aim later. We'll get to that one later. Alright, and moving from the original PlayStation on to the Game Boy Color with Resident Evil Gaiden, which was released December 14th, 2001. Has any of you played it?
I didn't even know it existed until you told me earlier tonight.
What about you, Adam? Have you played it?
No, I never played it because I was always PlayStation fanboy.
Yeah, Justin, have you played it?
No, I was far too poor to be able to afford that.
A Game Boy Color?
Yep.
Well, then I guess I'm the only one that will speak on this real quick. My first memories with Resident Evil Gaiden was a good friend of mine named Chris Nishelke. I don't know if Justin might...
What the hell's his name?
Chris Nishelke. He was a friend of mine in high school. Actually, it was high school. No, middle school. He brought it in. He was a big Silent Hill, Resident Evil fan, horror fan. And he brought it in and showed me it and let me play it for a second. I remember... Initially, I thought it was amazing. Resident Evil on the Game Boy, that's awesome. And then years later, I bought it myself, and it is a fucking mess.
Chris Nishelke, rifle butted somebody in the face.
That was me.
Oh, that was you? Oh.
we were playing Resident Evil, he hit me with a BB gun in my face.
I went to daycare with them, and they were like, I don't know, we were probably 10, and he built a fort, and we would throw beanbags at the small children, and then we took one of them prisoner and built a jail for them, and we told everybody that they were going to become tyrant if they got loose.
Nice.
Yeah, so good memories.
Good memories. But that game is terrible. The shooting, the versus zombies is basically... I don't even know what you would compare it to. Basically, your aim, your crosshairs move around the screen, and you just got to hit A when it's in the right spot. And that's how you fight that game.
That sounds awesome.
Terrible, terrible game. Probably the worst in the series by far. And
You
that
gotta contend with Dead Aim.
Yeah,
that's true, but that'll come later. But the next game that we will tackle actually came out a little bit before the Game Boy Color version, but I figured since we're moving on to a whole nother console, actually consoles, we'll talk about Resident Evil Code Veronica, which was initially released on the Sega DreamCast February 3rd, 2000. I'm not sure the release date for the PlayStation version, which is called Code Veronica X. And
I think that was 2001.
Probably. It probably wasn't too far.
It came out shortly thereafter.
And then the game was also ported to the GameCube, as well as Xbox 360 in an HD re-release, and I believe it's also available on the PlayStation Network. So Justin, do you have any memories of Resident Evil Code Veronica X or Code Veronica?
No, I couldn't afford a DreamCast. This was still in the poor times of my life.
You didn't have it for PS2 either?
No.
Okay, what about you, Adam?
Yep. I remember playing the crap out of that one too, and then I think I forgot. I pretty much, I sucked at that one. For whatever reason, I sucked at that one a lot. And,
I remember.
And what had happened? I think I forgot to get the grenade launcher.
The whole game. And you restarted the whole game, and it made me rage hard because I was watching you play it.
I never restarted it because I just stopped playing it after that point.
No,
it took me forever to get to the grenade launcher, and then I forgot to
continue playing.
Huh?
Like, I remember you restarted the game, but you never actually replayed it. You just kind of restarted it. And
I just never played it again. That's what I'm saying. I never played it again because I forgot the damn grenade launcher. I never picked that game up after that until I don't think I've picked it up since.
So you've never beaten it then?
Nope.
How about you, Alex? Have you played it or?
No, it was just another case of Resident Evil 1 where I just watched Adam play it.
What console were you guys playing it on?
PlayStation.
PlayStation 2. I remember playing it for the PlayStation 2 as well. And similar story to you, Adam. I had the grenade launcher. I got on the plane where you fight the tyrant and you have to knock him off the plane. Didn't have the ammo to do it. Couldn't get past that. And then never played it again. From what I've heard, you go to a sweet Antarctic area and...
Yeah, I've read all about it and I've never been there. Sounds like a fantastic place.
Yeah.
I think that's the last time we actually see Claire in any Resident Evil game.
Yep.
Pretty much. That's not a flashback game. Yeah, I don't think she's in any other ones.
Yeah, she's in no more of them.
We forgot to mention, I believe it was Survivor. There was one there was I don't know if you guys remember, a tyrant, a different tyrant. He had hammer arms.
Survivor.
Yeah, that was Code Veronica.
That was Code Veronica.
Oh, I thought it was Survivor.
Yeah, the hammer, the club arms or whatever.
Okay. Because I remember that. That just popped in my head for whatever reason. I remember that was pretty cool. Because it was a new tyrant. That was really interesting. It wasn't...
Well, that's why I always liked Mr. X, because... I don't know, I always liked Mr. X. The tyrant from the first one was sweet, but Mr. X was always badass from number 2.
He was saying on tyrant classes, Nemesis will always be my favorite.
Yeah.
Was he considered a tyrant, Nemesis?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. He was a new type.
I know there was the tyrant in the first one. There was Mr. X, which was similar, but he looked like a member of some kind of gang with his trench coat.
I think Nemesis was the first truly successful tyrant as well.
Yeah, he was. He's the first one that actually listened.
Right. Yeah, they got it to work.
And then they completely ruined it in the film adaptation.
Yes. Let's not get into the film can't even say that word.
Maybe
get into that.
Maybe we'll have to do a third episode on the comic books and movies.
No.
I'll think about it.
The comics are great.
I don't have any of them. I want them, but they're expensive.
They fill in between the first ones fill in all the story between when Claire goes into that diner in the first game.
Right
in the beginning, it has the story of what happened in the diner before she comes in.
I remember seeing that one.
The books kind of do that as well, with the Caliban Cove, can't speak, and Underworld.
Undead City was my favorite.
City of the Dead, which was based off Resident Evil 2, if I remember right.
That was definitely my favorite one.
That was a pretty damn good book, I'm not gonna lie.
And Nemesis was an also great one.
Nemesis, based off the third game. Those books were pretty good. I think I still have them all. But that leads us to the next game, which is Resident Evil Outbreak for the PlayStation 2, which was released on December 11th, 2002.
That was a great game.
Have you played it, Alex?
Yeah, I played it extensively. That was a great game.
I remember I let you borrow it, and I don't think I ever got it back.
That is weird.
And you definitely got it back.
Well then I probably never got File 2 back.
That is crazy.
Justin, have you played Outbreak?
That was the one with all the different people, right?
That was the one with all the different people, yes.
Yep. I didn't play it a lot because it was also a rental, but yeah, I don't remember much. I think I was a fat police officer. I don't know.
There was a security guard, fat, overweight, somewhat hefty security guard, which was one of the better characters because if I remember right, he starts with a gun.
Yeah.
Yes, I like the aspect with those guns too. Was you had, instead of like all the other previous Resident Evils, it was you have one magazine and then bullets.
Right.
Where I had that one magazine, your guy would sit there and just put the rounds in as the zombie was getting closer, and you could just feel the tension, like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Another thing I really liked about Outbreak, I beat the original. I liked how basically it took place during 2 and 3, but you weren't really dealing with Umbrella or any of that stuff. So you got to see what was happening to Raccoon City. You got to see different areas that you wouldn't have seen if you just played 2 and 3.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
I like the aspect where if you get bit, you get infected.
Right.
Yeah, see, the first time I played it, I only played for like 5 minutes at a friend's house. And I think he actually had it online, but that was, early online days, so it was absolute garbage.
Weren't you able to become a zombie if you died?
I was just gonna mention that. I played online once. It was an interesting concept, which they should really go back to with newer games, but there was no voice chat because it was still, like Adam said, it was still early in the whole online thing. But I played online once, and my whole purpose for playing was to die and become a zombie and see what it was like. And basically, you die, obviously, and then your character gets back up, and you're literally a zombie. You can walk around freely, you can attack people, you can still open doors and everything. It was pretty fucking cool. They should really bring that back in some way. But
yes, I think that was like the first online game I ever played too.
I think SOCOM 2 was probably the first online game I ever played.
What an amazing game.
With you, Justin. I remember playing with you. But
yes.
Another really cool thing about Outbreak was, I can't remember how often it happened, but you could kind of interact with things. Like I remember in the first level, I guess you could say, the first area, the bar, you go upstairs and you can actually get a nail gun and you can board up a door. Or you cannot, and zombies will just walk in. I remember thinking that was really cool because it was kind of like I don't know what you'd call it, kind of a free will thing. Like you could board up the door and explore, or you could just run out and leave the door wide open. For whatever reason, when I was a kid, I thought that was really cool. And I don't remember if it happened much else in the game.
Probably not. Probably one of those weird things.
Many other times.
What did you got any memories or anything you want to mention, Alex?
No, just the fact of, the first time you can finally get, infected.
Right. And you actually, if I remember right, you had to take pills to keep your infection down.
Yeah, but it won't stop it, it'll just slow it.
Right.
So, like, you're going to die sooner or later, and it gave you a real emphasis to where, am I going to play it strategically still and, die before each level, or am I going to run through it, get more infected, but have a chance of actually beating that level?
Which is kind of fucked up. Because let's say you get bit, you're infected. Let's think of this as if it's real life. You beat the level, you're going to turn into a zombie eventually. If you get out of Raccoon City, you're spreading the virus.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Which is kind of fucked up. But
yeah, I never even thought about that.
Leading on to our final game we're going to talk about on this episode is Resident Evil Outbreak File 2, the sequel, which came out September 9th, 2004, once again for the PlayStation 2.
Same game.
Same game, yes. Have any of you played it?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I played the first one.
Negative.
It was the exact same game. I mean, the most cool aspect about it, I guess you could say, was the zoo.
I was just gonna say that. That was
Seeing
the
infected
best part of the
animals.
game.
But
Absolutely.
that was just a small part of the game, which really I couldn't see somebody actually, buying that game at full price because it felt more like just an expansion, like in
It
the
really
same game.
was.
Here's some extra levels for you because it was all the same characters.
It was all the same characters. The first stage was once again the bar, the exact same as the first game.
It was no different.
So yeah,
No different.
it was basically like you said, expansion pack. You got five or six new areas of Raccoon City.
And they weren't even that great.
No, they really weren't. The zoo was good. I remember there was a level where you were in the forest, the mountains, the forest surrounding Raccoon City.
Mountains.
Right, and you ended up in a cabin, and like a giant dude with an axe chased you around.
Mm-hmm.
Never beat that one because I couldn't get past him.
Was infuriating.
Yes, I never got past that part. Never beat the game. With that said, it was cool. It was Resident Evil Outbreak. So if you liked Outbreak, you'll probably like Outbreak File 2. But it was the same game.
Yeah, there's really not much there to keep people interested, I guess.
Yeah, like you were saying, if this was if Outbreak File 1 would have came out, for the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, this would have been DLC. Yeah. So that's the last game we're gonna cover. You know what? I just want to throw in. Let's talk about the first movie. What are your memories of the original Resident Evil movie?
The original was great.
Yeah, the original was really good.
What'd you say, Justin?
I found it irritating.
Right. Why is that?
While it was closest to Resident Evil out of all of them, it really just should not have even had the name Resident Evil. I mean, it wasn't really anything like it at all.
I disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I have to disagree too on that.
The original.
I mean, it wasn't, obviously it didn't use the same characters or any of that, but
yeah,
it still, it took the existing story of Resident Evil and actually, kind of stuck close to it. It used the Umbrella facility, had the mansion. It didn't try and make anything crazy up.
Yeah, it didn't throw stuff in there. Obviously, like the second one, for the sake of it being Resident Evil, they're like, hey, let's do fan service, and fail horribly at that fan service.
Right. The movies that followed were the shit ones, but I really enjoyed the first movie. I remember my first time seeing it, I was in Kalamazoo. I was spending like a week at my sister's apartment. She rented it from Blockbuster. I literally watched it every day for 7 days straight. I really liked that movie, and it, like you were saying, there's the mansion, there's the underground facility, there's the zombies, there's the liquor, the dogs. It was Resident Evil.
It's not a good movie by any means, but it plays with the it kind of has the horror elements to it as well as action elements to it, and makes it worth watching as far as that goes.
It takes, from what I would say, it takes the universe, just makes it an alternate universe, I guess you could say. It's a lot like Resident Evil, but different characters, like Alex was saying. Same locations, different characters, different events. Still, I enjoyed it.
It was good in the term, like you said, if you just stand back and look at it as another horror movie. Like, you don't even have to look at it as Resident Evil, and it worked.
Right, another generic zombie movie.
Yeah, you could just look at it as a zombie movie, and it did an excellent job. It didn't try to go on course and fail. It's like, hey, we know we're not the games. We're not going to, attempt to be the games. We're just
the only thing I don't like is what it did with the liquor.
What did it do with the liquor?
Made it evolve.
Yeah, with the it tasted blood. Now it's a totally different monster.
That was silly, but I could see there being another evolved liquor similar to.
I mean,
to the
You
tyrants.
said it was like a different universe.
Right, but I also thought that was kind of weird that it tastes like they never fed it. It never ate like a rabbit or anything, and
If you realize it was comatose until the power went off.
Yeah, they did
And
have
then-
it like stasis till.
And then it woke up. So that could have been the first time I was ever awake.
yeah, I guess that could be true. Now, has anybody here seen the computer animated movie?
Oh yeah, I've seen both of them.
What'd you think of the first one?
Oh,
Was that the airport?
That was the airport, yes.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Have you seen that one, Justin?
Is he even here anymore?
No.
You've never seen the CGI Resident Evil movie?
Watch it on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
It's not bad. I remember watching it at your house, Adam. I believe it was New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Yep.
That was
Yeah, that was a long time ago because that was right before I joined the.
Yeah, that was
Marines, wasn't it? Right
that
before
was-
I left.
Yeah, I believe it was. You left shortly after. But good movie. Again, it's actually, if you were like Justin, if you were looking for a Resident Evil movie, this would be the one to watch because
Like an actual to the video game movie.
Because-
It was. Didn't it take place right after the events of 4?
I think it
little
was right
while.
before 4.
Yeah, I think it was before.
It wasn't
It
too
was somewhere around there because you encounter Hunnigan again,
right.
and Leon's all, "I'm a man now."
I'm a man's man. But yeah, I believe it took place before 4, and it was pretty cool. Not without its problems, but enjoyable.
Definitely don't have problems, but for what it was great.
I agree.
Definitely worth a watch.
I haven't seen. I've seen part of it. I haven't watched the entire second one. I'll have to watch
I've seen
that.
the entire second one, and it's not as good.
No, not as good.
Not as good as at all. I mean, it's
Yeah, the first one really is significantly better than the second one.
there's no question.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like with Resident Evil movies in general. First one's usually pretty good, and
Yeah.
then they go downhill. Although I will say with the Hollywood franchise, first movie was great, second movie was terrible, and then the third, fourth, those got better than the second one. But we're
They
still
went to mediocre.
yes,
Yeah,
they went
the
from
later
terrible
ones-
to mediocre.
They just weren't even. That was just using the name at that point.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
After
You
the
gotta think-
even the third one was just kind of using the name. Well, wait, the second one
Yeah.
had Nemesis, right?
second one
Yeah.
had Nemesis. The third one was, I believe, in the desert.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
I mean
then-
after the second one, then it was just using their name still. It wasn't even the movie anymore, or Resident Evil anymore. It was just using the name.
What I think is whoever wrote those movies just watched trailers for the games.
Yeah.
Because they would stick in like, oh, here's a zombie from Resident Evil 4 with the parasite. And,
Yeah.
And now in
Pretty
this
much.
one, here's the dog parasites from 5, and it's like, what? This doesn't even make any sense for the storyline we were going with.
Yeah, using the guys with the hammers and stuff.
Yes, yeah. Just taking out characters from games and sticking them in their movies with no real explanation. And didn't it take like 3 movies for them to finally get the tyrant in there? Like the real
It
tyrant?
wasn't even because it wasn't even.
don't
What
think
it
it ever
was
a
it was
tyrant.
like that guy. It was some dude that injects the crap out of himself, and then he
Like his face is the same, but he's got like a tyrant body, if I remember.
He's kind of like the early stages of William Birkin from the second one.
yeah, because then all of a sudden he's got
Holds a face.
tendrils and he's attacking Alice and
Right.
Yeah, but he's all messed up looking.
All right. Let's end this episode, and let's just quickly talk about some of the random Resident Evil merchandise and stuff. Did anybody have any of the action figures?
yeah.
Yes.
What action figures did you have?
I had Birkin.
You had Birkin.
Yeah, where you could change in and out between like the two forms he had.
Oh, really? So it came with parts to like attach to him, or?
Yeah, it came with a bunch of parts to make it like the four-legged version.
That's
from
awesome.
Birkin. It was pretty sweet. And then I had a tyrant too.
Well?
Yeah, I had the tyrant from the first one.
Wow.
I only had Forest Sniper, and that was it.
Lame. Doesn't he die like really quick?
You don't even see him. He's just dead.
Oh, is he? Who gets
Like
bit by the
crows.
snake?
Forrest was eaten by crows. The snake was Richard.
Yeah, Richard got
Uh,
attacked by a snake.
So Forest Sniper was the crow guy.
Yeah.
Why did they make an action figure of him then?
Because at one point where he wakes up, and he's that one part like you can actually have him wake up and he becomes a zombie.
So
It was a zombie.
it was a zombie action figure?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
It wasn't actually him.
I remember that. And then I think we'll get to that later, never mind. I never had any of the action figures. I've always wanted them. I remember looking at them online and just even like last year was very ready to order them, but never did. I've always
That's how I
wanted
am with a completely unrelated thing, Gundam. God, I
Oh
want to
my
buy all the
God.
Gundams things still.
I remember us playing with Gundam action figures.
Dude, we both had so many of them.
I remember having damaged, like body damaged ones and
Yeah.
model kits and But Alex, you were talking about the novels earlier. How many of them have you read?
I read Umbrella Conspiracy.
Okay, that's the book based off the first game.
I thought that, and then Combat and Cove. Only a little bit. I never finished that one. City of the Dead and Nemesis. So I pretty much followed the video game just because I
Right.
wanted to see. I was really into figuring out more around the video games.
Right.
Like it shows. What I liked specifically was in Nemesis, it followed Nikolai more. And
Right.
his whole, like, you don't really figure out why he's doing what he's doing. And then you read the book, and it actually gives insight that he's working, actually he's an agent for Umbrella, trying to get all their information out, killing everybody that had any remote ties to Umbrella. That's why everybody, whenever in the video games you encounter Nikolai, there's always somebody that's dead.
Ah, yes.
Or that's about to die, and then they end up dying because Nikolai is axing them.
I own all the novels. I've read them all. My main reason for getting them was I've always loved the Resident Evil series, but back in like high school, I didn't have the games. Obviously, I have them now, clearly, but back then I didn't have them. So like Alex was saying, I wanted to read them to basically. They're kind of like, I guess, if you took a strategy guide and added story to it. That's what they are. They mention the puzzles. They mention what's going on, where the zombies are at, the layouts, and that's what I liked. It was basically reading the video game.
Yeah, it was like playing the video game in your head.
Right. That's what I really liked. And I have the books right here. We have Umbrella Conspiracy, based off the first game. Columbine Cove, which was a story made up by S.D. Perry, the author.
I thought that was the Zero.
No. Columbine Cove was, if I remember right, it was completely ridiculous because there were zombies that were trained with weapons, like guns. And it was like, I can't remember, it's been years, but I think it was Umbrella's own like island or something, where they were basically training zombies and bioweapons to be smarter. That was followed by City of the Dead, which was based off Resident Evil 2. The next book was Nemesis, based off Resident Evil 3. Then came Code Veronica, based off Code Veronica. And the last book was Zero Hour, which was based off Resident Evil 0.
Okay, there it was.
I love those books. They're really good. And
I never read any of them. I don't know how to read, so.
Right, yeah. I understand where you're coming from with that, Adam.
So I just live my life.
But you have the comics, or you had the comics.
I had the comics, yeah.
So you just looked at the pictures then?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what the words said.
Yeah. Well, how were the comics? Because I've never actually read any.
They had colors.
Yeah?
No, I mean they weren't bad. It was cool to, like I said earlier, is you see stuff that explained kind of what happened to certain places before the attack. Like it showed kind of. I remember there was one that kind of talked about Birkin a little bit. Another one was the one I really remember. I don't. This is the one I actually think I had was the. It showed like the restaurant. They were pretty graphic too, but it was the restaurant that Claire goes to in the beginning of the game, and like what happened there.
Now the restaurant, that's where the guy crashes his semi truck.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No, I don't think he crashes in.
Claire meets Leon for the first time.
Yeah, that's where Claire gets saved by Leon.
Oh, I thought that was the gun shop.
No.
So when you play Resident Evil 2 as Claire, where do you start? In the restaurant?
It depends on what you play as.
Because I remember my brother renting the game, and if I remember right, you play as Claire, you start, and you're like surrounded by fire?
Yeah, you start in the same place Leon does when you first play.
Okay.
If you start as Leon, and then play Scenario 2, Claire starts in a different spot.
So if you play Claire first, she starts where Leon starts.
Yeah, and you just go into the gun shop 2 seconds later.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But if you play as Claire first, she goes into the gun shop, and then Leon starts on the other side. It just flip-flops them, really.
Okay, that's actually really cool, though.
Leon!
What?
Just out of nowhere. Have you been in the game? There's a
conversation.
Justin,
what did you have anything other than the games that was related to Resident Evil?
Nope.
Nothing?
No, I don't think so.
Another thing.
Man, you're lame.
Another thing I've always wanted to purchase but never actually went through with it were the Resident Evil airsoft guns.
Resident Evil airsoft guns?
You guys never seen those before?
Oh.
They're airsoft guns based
I've only seen the Samurai's Edge.
There's the Samurai's Edge. There is Barry's revolver.
What are you buying?
What are you selling? There were the golden guns that were in Resident Evil Code Veronica. I was very tempted to purchase these, and they are very expensive, so I never did. I wish I would have when I had the money. But that's gonna end.
Don't open that door.
Yeah, that brings up another thing I just want to mention. There's a video on YouTube, or at least there was, from years ago called Jill Sandwich.
Oh, God.
And it's like a techno remix of Jill Sandwich. And I believe Justin might have been there when we watched it in school about 2 million times.
It almost became a Jill Sandwich.
Jill Sandwich.
How about lockpick? Jill Sandwich.
I hope this isn't Chris's sandwich.
I hope this isn't Chris's butt.
But this is gonna end us on episode 1 of Let's Talk About Resident Evil. On episode 2, I don't know if we'll all be here, but we're gonna talk about Resident Evil, the remake on the GameCube, and follow every game in the series up until 6. But I've been Ben Richey, here with Adam Richey. Say
Me,
goodbye.
Alex Richey.
Adam dropped. With Alex Richey. Say goodbye, Alex.
Goodbye.
And Justin Jones, won't you?
Ja, matashita.
That was probably goodbye in Japan. But thanks for watching, and we will see you next time on episode 2 of Let's Talk About Resident Evil.
Goodbye.